Shalom, Heroes. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Shalom to the Israelite Brotherhood family. I pray that everybody is doing well in these hard times. You know what I'm saying? We know that the enemies of the Israelites, man, are always out trying to destroy us. And man, we know that all these different versions of all these different, you know what I'm saying, COVIDs, you know what I'm saying, and then how they crying, oh, the unvaccinated is causing the problem, because they know that the majority of the Israelites, mean, they ain't gonna be trying to take no shots, and how we gonna depend on Almighty Yah. But now they want to point the finger and try to say that, you know, we the cause of the stuff that's, you know, going on with these viruses. And that's false, because you know how they unleash viruses and been practicing on them for a long time and stuff. But Israelites, we got to pray to Almighty Yah during this time, because that's all we got. I mean, that's all we got. We don't got nothing else. And we know that Almighty Yah said that we will be devoured, and that our enemies will have total reign over us, and how to be just pure horrible. And we know that the transatlantic slave trade and its descendants, man, been experiencing just that. Well, Israelites, this is what I want to go into. Hiding prophecy will keep you in disbelief. Our enemies are magicians at trying to hide some prophecies that done passed already. And then they try to, you know, have prophecies, man, that where if you don't know that they came to pass, then you're going to be in disbelief on the prophecies that's supposed to take place. And then that's what our enemies been doing the whole time, is trying to rewrite history. Trying to rewrite history so you don't see that prophecy has came to pass. And then if prophecy done come to pass, then the Tanakh is real. And then I can show in history how the prophecies done come past, and how it shows that the history of the Israelites is true. So if the history of the Israelites is true, then it's a Yah. Then it's a creator for real. Man, I be listening to a lot of space programs. Excuse me. Man, a lot of space programs I be listening to, and man, these guys, man, they know, man, it's a creator, especially that live AV Lord. Oh man, they know it's a creator, and then what they try to call the creator, man, is aliens. You know what I'm saying? That's their favorite word. You know what I'm saying? It's calling the heavenly host. They call them aliens, you know, because they trying to say that they aliens to this planet. But we know that's false, because the Tanakh got a clear history of Almighty Yah in this creation. And then it's the thing, man, about those scientists. Man, if you listen to them, man, they tell you that life was created, and it's a code, and you know what I'm saying, and how everything is like pre-planned and stuff, and how they can see how the scientists, can see the pre-planned of Almighty Yah's creation, and they know that it's a creator, and then they know that it's a heavenly host, and they constantly trying to find heaven. You know what I'm saying? Man, it might be a place where it's gold and sapphire and you know, places made of gemstones or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The Tanakh that describes the Creator in His magnificent way. They know that exists, and they looking for it with space equipment, man, that they sending in the space all the time. And they got like a little club, man, a little secret club, man, that they only share this information with. And then they done got a glimpse of the heavenly host, and it done spooked them. You know what I'm saying? But that's why come all this is related into hiding prophecy will keep you in disbelief. See, they don't want you to know that it's a creator and that creator now visit this earth and that he is the creator of this earth. And then they say that, man, it's like 29 planets been observing that can observe the earth and been observing the earth for like 400 years, but it's like 60,000 light years away. You know what I'm saying? That it'll take them 60,000 years, man, to get to the planet. Well, they were showing, man, some stuff, man, on one of this, man, with this guy, man, talking to this gentleman right here, man, talking to this gentleman, and then he telling them how he was in his aircraft flying, and then they seen some what they call the tic tac, and then how they flew their plane over close to it, and then you know how it took off, man, at speeds that they ain't never thought possible, and then how did they say that there's not human technology on this planet, and how he well aware of all the little secret developments, and how he might have then flew, you know, some little planes or something here and there, and didn't know how the planes function, but how he say that man, that stuff what he seen with his own eyes is not from this planet. You know what I'm saying? And then all this gonna be in relations to what Prophet Ezekiel experienced in them crafts. You know, so they know that it's a heavenly host, especially the people that call themselves Jewish. They know it's a heavenly host, and that they get around in crafts and so forth from just reading the book of Ezekiel. And then they know that the book of Ezekiel is real because they know that the Babylonian captivity took place. They know that the Babylonian captivity took place, and they know that all the prophecies in the Bible with concerning the Israelites before they was expelled come to pass, because history bear witness to this. History bear witness that a Babylonian captivity took place. History bear witness that an Assyrian troubles took place, even though the Assyrian troubles with the Israelites is not what our enemies. You know what I'm saying? They ain't been telling the truth. Just let me put it like that. They ain't been telling the truth about the Assyrian captivity, and how the Assyrian captivity, man, was more or less some pigmented folks fighting against some non-pigmented folks, as can be demonstrated in Shalamazar, the third history, and when he was fighting against Uratar, the the Hittites, and you know, Ashkenazi, and the Babylonians, the Chaldeans, and a whole bunch of other host of folks, and then how the Assyrians had got support from Jehu, even though it's not mentioned in Tanakh, but how the Assyrians got relics of it, you know. And then that's why I say, man, they try to hide prophecy, because you know, if you understand that these Israelite individuals existed and was up under the Israelite title, then the story, man, about their history, man, the Israelite history got to be true. And then that's why come they don't want you to, you know, believe, you know what I'm saying, in prophecy, because if you believe in prophecy, then you'll see it's a whole lot of prophecies still left undone concerning the Israelites. And then there's prophecies, man, about the Israelites getting destroyed. Man, it's what our enemies been hiding. You see, they've been hiding this, and then them hiding that the Israelites were driven off the land during the Babylonian wars for wanting to worship Egyptian worship, which Ahab couldn't turn loose. I was just reading, man, about the Israelite kings, men that couldn't stop doing the Egyptian worship. You know what I'm saying? Jehu gonna be one of them, and Jehu had an association with the Assyrians, as can be shown that there's an Assyrian relic. And then man, within this history of understanding Jehu association with the Assyrians, I explain all the time how the Assyrians were mostly made up, its nations were made up of Hamitic people and its chief members, as well as, man, I think, man, they could have been much related to were the Mishwish tribes. Those are the tribes that control Lower Egypt, who control what they call southern Libya, where the pyramids is. Those gonna be the peoples that the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh was kin to. And as I explained in plenty history, how the tribe of Ephraim kept an association with the Egyptians and with the Assyrians. You know, man, history not being told, you know what I'm saying, about the Israelites. Because if history was told, man, about the Israelites, then you'll see that it's a whole bunch of prophecies that's gonna come to pass that ain't came to pass, but that our enemies want you or the world to think that they came to pass. That's like the Israelites' redemption after being driven out the land. You know, they want to say that, you know, the experience that the Jewish people had during the Holocaust, and then they're, you know, migrating to the promised land, you know what I'm saying, fulfilled the land of return that was promised for the, you know, Israelites to return. But we know that the peoples in the promised land ain't living in no peace. And then I prove over and over that they're not the Israelites, even though, man, they've been deceived and think that they are after these thousands of years, you know. But I show without a question of a doubt how the true Israelites abandoned our heritage to the Sephardi's, and then I explain how Ashkenazi come into our Israelite history. Yes, but look, let me show you the tribe of Ephraim, you know, messing with them Assyrians and how they always had an association with the Assyrians. And then that's why Jehu, you know, the Assyrians had a relic with Jehu, you know what I'm saying? And some of the Judites would be Ephrathites, and Ephrathites were Judah mixed with Ephraim and so forth. And King David, man, was under that lineage. His daddy was a Ephrathite. You know, Jesse was an Ephrathite. That's gonna be a Judah, Ephraim the father, and Judah the probably no Ephraim probably the mother, and Judah the father. You know what I'm saying? And but those mixtures and stuff. But here is a Ephraim. This is Hosea 12, and this is in 753. This is way after Jehu, you know, relic was found in Assyria and dated around about 951 BC or something like that. I read today. But look, Ephraim feedeth on wind and followeth after the east wind, and he daily increases lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and all is carried into Egypt. Look, all is carried into Egypt. Now, why would the tribe of Ephraim be carrying all into Egypt, knowing that we had a covenant with Almighty Yah not to associate with the Egyptians? You know what I'm saying? But that would go back to the same way that Ahab followed. You know what I'm saying? Followed the Ahab followed the Amorite, you know what I'm saying, tradition, but how Jehu, who, you know, took his place, followed the Egyptian religion, but he had got rid of the Amorite religion in the name of Almighty Yah, but how he still cleaved to the Egyptian religion, you know what I'm saying. And then, you know, during them times, man, Almighty Yah started to cut Israel short, because Israel, man, we was all messed up, as I showed in the, you know what I'm saying, I think in one video how man, it always was like a northern portion and a southern portion, you know what I'm saying, with the Israelites, and how that the split just didn't come with, you know, Solomon, you know what I'm saying, and we read Roboham, his son Breaking Bad, and how that we always had, you know what I'm saying, the southern and the northern part, you know what I'm saying. I don't know what them scriptures that I didn't, you know what I'm saying, prepare, you know what I'm saying, for that. But how the northern kingdom, mean the northern folks, man, always, you know what I'm saying, kind of like had an Egyptian association. Look, man, but man, I think this is all right. Judah shall look. All right, Judah shall abide. Let me see. This is Joshua 18. Judah shall abide in their coast on the south, in the house of Joseph, which represent all the Israelites. Look, in the house of Joseph shall abide in their coast on the north. You see what I'm saying? In the house of Joseph, man, kind of like was the representation of the northern kingdom. You know, the northern kingdom. So it kind of like always was a north and a south. But, you know, if you listen to, you know, the enemies, they'll try to just make you think that did it come about just, you know what I'm saying, after Solomon's death. And I got Zechariah up here for a reason. Let's look and see what the book Zechariah got to tell us. Zechariah 10:6. It's in relation to that verse. Let's see if I can find Zechariah real quick. And then I'm going to finish talking about that alien stuff that they want us to believe in. Alright, 10:6. Alright, Zechariah 10:6. Alright. And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and I will bring them again into their place, for I will have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though they had not cast them off. For I am the Elohim their Yah, and will hear them, you know. And then and they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man. Well, you know, that's gonna happen. That's the prophecy. I mean, that ain't come to pass since we've been driven out. All right, Israelites, I talk about, you know, the minute first, how, you know, the scientists is up in the heavens looking around and stuff and trying to hide prophecy that then came to pass. You know, like I say, the men doing the Babylonian wars. But let me show this little picture, man, of Jehu. And then, you know, I'm going to try to show how he was tied into the Egyptian religion. And then how the Assyrians, man, put the Mishwish tribes. Now, you know, if Necho existed, did this individual right here, Necho, if he existed, and they got statues of him, and he in the Tanakh, history, man, for having King Josiah killed. And this is the same king that the Assyrians set up. He is going to be a Mishwish king. This king going to be king to the tribe of Ephraim. You know, he going to be king to the tribe of Ephraim, because Ephraim mother was Asenath. And Pharaoh gave Joseph the priest of On daughter. And they was Mishwish tribes. They controlled Lower Egypt and Southern Libya. You know what I'm saying? They were not of the Nubian, Ethiopian, Sudanic stock that controlled Upper Egypt. You know? And, you know, we're going to be kin to these folks right here. Shame to say it. But, you know, you know what I'm saying, we got caught up with them when they tricked us out the promised land. You know, as I can show that we had a long history of dealing with the Egyptian religion. But after Necho tricked us out the promised land into Egypt to worship the Egyptian religion, man, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, we got messed up real bad. And that's from associating with these Egyptians. But Necho was put on the throne by man, I forgot which one of those men Assyrian kings, Anashustra, you know what I'm saying, it could have been him or his son, and then that would start the satire. He was part of the Satire Kings, and if y'all read about the satire history, Prophet Isaiah prophesies that it will happen, how the Assyrians and the Israelites and the Egyptians would be united. That's because we had a common enemy, and then all that was, Almighty already said that he had used the men and the Assyrians as a rod to chastise us. We're associating with them, and they idol worship got us kicked out the promised land. Along as, with kicking it with the Egyptians. Kicking it with the Egyptians. Alright, but let me show you Israelites, man, about Jehu in this idol worship. Man, that's gonna be 2 Kings 10, I think I had. Let's find it. Find 2 Kings 10. Alright. Man, Jehu got rid of Ahab, who was doing the Egyptian, the Amorite religion. Ahab was doing the Amorite religion, and Almighty Yah had Jehu anointed. All right, you know what I'm saying? Let me see as you read down. You know what I'm saying? And Jehu proclaimed a solemn assembly for Baal. You know what I'm saying? He got all the peoples together that worship Baal. You know what I'm saying? The Amorite gods that we left in the land, that how we didn't destroy them, and these the same gods that's combined in the religion of Christianity that's destroying the Israelites right now today, by the same people who set America up, as I showed that America was set up by Amorites. But as you read, Jehu, you know what I'm saying, you got all the Baal worshippers together, and that's the job of Almighty Yah followers in worship at the time when we were supposed to be representing him on the promised land, is that he'd dispatch us to go put out the lights of false worshipers. We go put their lights out. And that's what we were supposed to do, was to put false worship out on this planet, and this planet is Almighty Yah's planet. This is his planet, and we his creation to fight for him. You see, and then, they don't want us to know that. And then how Almighty Yah described some reptiles, or reptile-like folks, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning, that tricked our mama, who we supposed to bite his heels, that'll make you fall. You know what I'm saying? And I show, how that reptile, man, is represented by a whole lot of nations, man, that hate the Israelites, with the Egyptians being number one. But look at Jehu. Look, how be it. Look, all right, and they break down the images of Baal, and break down the house of Baal, and made it draught house, men unto this day. This Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Howbeit from the sins of Jeroboam, the sons of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, Jehu departed not from them. After them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. So the golden calves gonna come from Jeroboam, who was driven into Egypt. See, our enemies always want to keep us off the covenant. That's one of the reasons for hiding prophecy. Hiding prophecy will keep the Israelites off the covenant, because if we can't see that prophecy come to pass, or none came true, because the Israelites in the past stiff-necked it, man. Almighty Yah performed prophecy, miracles after miracles, man, in front of us, and man, it's still disbelief. But then how we did get settled, and then got in good under King David, is why King David was loved so much, is because he was a fighter for Almighty Yah. See, if you ain't fighting for Almighty Yah, then you're going to be fighting for the enemy's belief system. Man, it's one or the other. There's no in between, and the enemy got multiple systems, man, that you can be deceived and tricked into following and worshiping and so forth. All right, look, hiding prophecy will keep you in disbelief. It's the job of the enemies of a new covenant for the Israelites. Man, if they got hidden prophecy and make you think the prophecy ain't gonna come to pass, and how they make you think that prophecy is not gonna come to pass is when they got all the Israelites in this multicultural system brainwashed, don't know left, you know what I'm saying, from right. Man, they just had a public execution, man, of an Israelite man on TV, and how all the Israelites, men, are numb or insensitive, men, to that. And then how the enemies don't want us to come into a new covenant, because if we come into a new covenant, then, man, that's the end, man, of their rule. You know, their rule depends on that no covenant with Almighty Yah get established here on earth. You know, that's what they don't want. They don't want that. And then wickedness can reign. You know, we see men within the Amorite culture that was in the promised land, in Sodom and Gomorrah and all those wicked places. Where these wicked places, men, are here in America, which is the daughter of Babylon, as I explained how the Amorites founded, you know what I'm saying, America. All right, but we see how Jehu did the Egyptian system. You know what I'm saying? And here's an image of Jehu right here with this Syrian, really, that I got this called the Black Obelisk. You know, the Black Obelisk. And then it got an image, many say of Jehu. You know, some scholars question it, but they know that it was an Israelite king from the, you know what I'm saying, tribe of Judah that was paying homage to the Assyrians. And then this would be Shalmaneser the third. You see 856 and 824 BC. And then let's go look at Yahoo, man, and see what he had on him. Let's see what he had on him. Israelites king. Alright, so we see Yahoo 841, 814. So that's when he reigned, 841. So that's probably Jehoram that what's the name was dealing with, but it was a Israelite king, you know what I'm saying? And that he wasn't from the tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? That was an Israelite king. Yeah, that was Ahab's commander, you know what I'm saying, who took over. But they try to say that he paid homage to the men of Syrians and stuff when he was king. But they know that was a Israelite king, you know what I'm saying? And then, man, here goes some images that our enemies don't want you to comprehend, you know what I'm saying? And it's called the it's off that Black Obelisk from men of Syria. How the Assyrians, you know, came in, you know, men, and conquered and took the peoples, you know, especially men, you know, the fighters from the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, and so forth. And then how did they took them to Assyria? See, all these things come to pass, and there's images meant to reflect and show this. There's images meant to reflect, men, and show this. You know what I'm saying? Men, about the Israelites, you know, being in captivity in these different places and so forth, and having to deal, you know, this is like getting his head cut off. You know what I'm saying? And this when Almighty Yah saved Jerusalem. Man, it probably had to be doing King Hezekiah time. You know, but they say that that's Jehu right there, one of the Syrian. I mean, it's probably Hoshea, King Hoshea, bowing down to the Syrians, and they don't want to say that after he was captured and took into Assyria. You know, but there goes, you know, some Israelites being forced off, and then you know, the image, man, of these Israelites, man, is hidden in the back room in the British Museum, and how they don't even let you see these images and stuff, you know, and how they just ain't just pushed over men into the public and so forth. You know, they ain't just pushed over to the public, because then if you see that them acts in the past happen, and then how it was prophecies, men associated with them acts coming to pass, you know, because Almighty Yah laid it down, and in this what they know, that Almighty Yah got millions of years of technology. So recording and dictating what happened on earth during the time that his covenant was active, that he gave us from Egypt, as well as the promises to prophet Abraham, you know what I'm saying, on down, that man, they know that it's true. I mean, if you can see them prophecies and know that those prophecies, man, are real, and then they got images associated with it. So, you know, man, they gonna be real slick in trying to hide prophecy, which will keep you in disbelief. You know, I'm gonna show you some of these prophecies. You know, this prophecy, men, ain't come to pass. And then I explain, man, let me show you some about that heavenly host, what I was talking about, what those professors are scared of, and they know that exist. They know Almighty Yah, men, exist in the heavens, and that he been looking down here on the earth, watching what's taking place with the Israelites. Look, man, if you read, man, the book of Ezekiel, and the book of Ezekiel was during the first wave when the Babylonians come in, men, and took, you know what I'm saying, men and peoples off. You know what I'm saying, from the tribe of Judah, you know what I'm saying, from the southern kingdom, you know, our last inheritance. But look, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind come out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire unfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, also out of the midst thereof come the likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Look, and everyone had four faces, and everyone had four wings. You know, we don't know what Almighty Yah created in the heavens. And their feet were straight foot, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of calf, and they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and their four had the faces in their wings, and their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went, and they went everyone straight forward. That's them crafts. And for the likeness of their faces, then they seeing something flying, and back in the days, they ain't had nothing flying in the air. They couldn't even describe nothing flying in the air, you know, back in the BC days. So this had to be true, as well as all the prophecies before this come to pass has been recorded in history. History bear witness to the Assyrian captivity, to the Babylonian captivity. History bear witness to the Egyptian empire that exists, and so forth. All right. This were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. Two wings on every one were joined one to another, and, you know what I'm saying, and covered their bodies. And they went everyone straight forward to whether the spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It was up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Man, that scared him. Man, some lights. Man, he can't explain. Back then, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. See, as a flash of lightning, man, they got out so fast. And we know lightning, man, they can't even count probably the speed of lightning, but how they got down so fast and come back. That's them crafts they been seeing. See, they don't want you to know their prophecies then went, and the prophecies then come to pass, and try to keep them hidden and stuff, because then you see the prophecies that's supposed to come to pass that's been associating with the prophecies in the past. Man, it's something. Look, and the living creatures ran, in return as the appearance of a flash of lightning. As the flash of lightning. Now, as I behold the living creatures, behold, one wheel went up on the earth, and the living creatures was his foreface, the appearance of the men of the wheels. And their works was like men unto the color of a braille, and they four had one likeness, and their men appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. So all them come from the same place and had the same creator. Man, if they all had one likeness, they four had one likeness. So, whatever made them made all four of them. Whatever made one made all four of them. And it was flying in the air. And this was way before airplanes come about. So our enemies, men talking about aliens up in space, men and looking for them and all that. Man, they just trying to hide prophecy and trying to keep people in disbelief on Tanakh history dealing with the Israelites. Look, and when the living creatures went and the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whatsoever the spirit was to go, they went, and whether was their spirit was to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When those went, and when those stood, and when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. So he got something lifting up off the ground, levitating off the ground. Man, that's something in the BC days that had to took place, because why would he be explaining something like that? Man, they couldn't comprehend nothing like that. And the likeness of the firmament went upon their heads of the living creatures was as the color of the terrible crystal. You know what I'm saying? That's that glass that them pilots be having and didn't have, stretching forth over their heads above. And you know what I'm saying? And then the heavenly hosts will come to earth as they come into earth again, and the enemies know it. And under the firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Everyone had two, which covered on this side, and everyone had two, which covered on that side of their bodies. And when they went up, I heard the noise of their wings. That's their motor, like the noise of a great waters, and the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech as the noise of a host. When they stood, they let down their wings. Almighty Yah giving them orders. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and had let down their wings. And when the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, you know what I'm saying, in that cockpit, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the stone was the likeness as the appearance of a man above it. And as I saw, as the color of emerald, the appearance of fire round about it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of a fire, and it had the brightness round about it as the appearance of a bow that is in the cloud. See, that's why they disrespect that rainbow color and got that associated with the Amorite, Sodom and Gomorrah wickedness and so forth. But you see how they, been looking for what they call aliens is really the heavenly host. See, they don't want you to know that all that done come to pass, and then how it's prophecies associated with Almighty Yah coming to the earth, dealing with Prophet Ezekiel and how the Israelite nation is supposed to rise. Now, if it's some people pretending to be Israelites, they ain't gonna want them prophecies in their history to be really known. So hiding prophecy will keep you in disbelief. If you don't know that prophecy come to pass, man, you're gonna be in disbelief. I promise you is. Alright, look, man, let's see what the prophet Isaiah had to say. Let's see if I marked it down. I hope I didn't lose that verse. Man. Yeah, man, Prophet Isaiah prophesies us returning to the mountainous region. And you know what I'm saying, of the promised land, and in how we supposed to hold it down. Look. the word that, and this is a prophecy they're not going to want to come to pass. Look, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Elohim house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountains of the Elohim, to the house of the Yah of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Elohim from Jerusalem. So, they not gonna want that to come to pass. If everybody gonna start going, if the Israelites get redeemed and set in the promised land in the mountainous regions, and then all nations flow to it, man, to want to understand, and they should want to understand, because we are the living proof that Almighty Yah exists and that it is a creator. That's why hiding prophecy, what I'm saying, will keep you in disbelief. And our enemies is good at hiding prophecy. See, they don't want you to know that the Israelites supposed to go back and be in the mountainous region. I did a video where the Israelites that snuck across the border. Now this the goal of the Israelite Brotherhood. Is not to sneak across the border, but to be assisted in the promised land by the people who driven us out, and how that they supposed to help us, and how we ain't gonna sneak across the border, but how the brothers and sisters in Demona are living in the desert and cannot represent prophecy. See, that's why I'm hiding prophecy, you know what I'm saying, man, to keep the people in disbelief. Now we know that we're supposed to be in the mountainous regions, as what Prophet Isaiah said. Now, how about that that the Israelites that made it home to the promised land are living in the desert and not living in the mountainous regions? See, the enemies ain't gonna want to show, you know what I'm saying, men, the truth of where we're supposed to be, and hiding prophecy. Hiding prophecy gonna keep a lot of people in disbelief. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't want this to come to pass. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war anymore. Now we know that in the promised land, man, they got iron domes and iron arrows and every kind of defense missile system, man, that you can imagine. And then how it's constant war, and how that the military industrial complex, many of them Jews, man, kind of like, their hands and all the nations was selling everybody ornaments and weapons. So how are they going to ever be the representation of Almighty Yah? They can't be, man. They got billions of dollars tied into their war, equipment, and the war, and how it'll never be, you know what I'm saying, no peace in the promised land, but because those peoples, are there. And then, we know what the book of Ezekiel say about the peoples in the promised land, about being pulled out and so forth. But how did the prophecy, man, that ain't gonna never come to pass, man, under the folks that's in the promised land now. And then to keep real prophecy hid, like how the people ain't supposed to go to war no more, and all they war materials are turning into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Those are agricultural equipment and stuff, turning war equipment into agricultural helpful products and so forth. And how men keeping prophecy hid, like the Israelites return, and and how they living in the desert, and not, that can't be associated with real prophecy, but keeping real truth hid. Man, our enemy has been reigning supreme. And then let's see what Micah say. Man, I got Micah, and I turn right to Micah, right to the page. Ain't that something? That's 4:3. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Elohim and to the house of the Yah of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war any more. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of Elohim has spoken this. For all people will walk, everyone in the name of his God, and will walk in the name of the Elohim our Yah forever and ever. And in that day, said the Elohim, will I assemble her that howleth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And we sure enough been afflicted, and our affliction come about for worshiping the Egyptian system. See, they ain't gonna want you to know prophecy. Prophecy, man, is connected and still rolling, because the Israelites broke the covenant and ran into Egypt to do the Egyptian religion. And it was prophecies concerning that. It was prophecies concerning that. And those prophecies for breaking the covenant translate into the curses. Alright, so the prophecies with the curses none come to pass. None come to pass, and we've been living that. But our enemies been wanting to hide those prophecies, and that's why they call us Negroes, blacks, African Americans, and all these made up names, so you don't be attached to ancient Israelite history. So therefore you seeing the prophecies being fulfilled with the curses. See, so if they had the prophecies with the curses, and you hid and don't know, man, that they didn't come to pass, then you don't know about the prophecies for the Israelites' future, and then how that another people can falsely represent that. And then that's been happening. That's been happening on this earth, but that's, man, it's the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the end, because if I'm explaining it, man, it's a wrap. Man, it's a wrap, and it's just a matter of time, man, for Israelites start to understand, you know. But we see that, the prophecies, man, concerning the curses that come to pass. And we know that the prophecies with the curses, man, we've been living them. So, it's prophecies about redemption if we turn to Almighty Yah. If we turn to Almighty Yah, man, we could be redeemed, and we could turn and switch this ordeal around, mean that we living under. We can switch it around. All praise be to Almighty Yah. All praise be to Almighty Yah. And like I say, man, if we ain't, if you, what I'm saying, don't know the prophecies none took place in the past, then you ain't gonna know about the prophecies, what I'm saying, for the future. What I'm saying? That's like this one and this one got to be worrying our enemies, man. It's got to be worrying them, because this ain't came to pass. This has not come to pass. This has not come to pass, man. Man, if you go to Jeremiah, man, that's gonna be Jeremiah 51. And look, Jeremiah 51, 8:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance, and the Elohim of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. See, our enemies ain't gonna want us to know this prophecy, and this prophecy has not come to pass. They ain't gonna never speak about this. Look, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider, and with thee also will I break in pieces men and women, and with thee will I break in pieces young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husband and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. So, this ain't came to pass. And we sure ain't destroyed no Babylon. We sure ain't destroyed no Babylon. Alright? So then if you go to Isaiah 41, let's see what 41 say. Prophet Isaiah is the man. Prophet Jeremiah too. Man, they prophecies been right on time. I mean, if we go to Jeremiah 41:15, look. Behold, I will make thee, look, fear not thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee. So if we need some help, then we in trouble somewhere. If Almighty y'all got to help us, fear not thou worm Jacob, ye men of Israel, I will help thee, said the Elohim, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new thrashing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thrash the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Elohim, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy see, you see, Almighty y'all gonna make us into his weapons of war. So the enemies ain't gonna want that to come to pass, and they ain't gonna show no prophecies dealing with that or associated with that. Alright, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Man, I just want, you Israelites to know, man, that, our enemies hide in prophecy and hide in real Israelite history, man. It keeps the people in disbelief. See, the people don't know that the Israelites, the whole Israelite nation, ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, and how the 99% never come back out of Africa, and how the people from the transatlantic slave trade represent it. We are these peoples right here. I mean, if you go to Jeremiah, that's going to be Jeremiah 44. We are these Israelites, man, that said this, that we, look, I mean, here go Nietzsche, let me see. Behold, Pharaoh army, which has come forth to help you, shall return into Egypt, men into their own land. That was during the time of King, King, that was King Jehoiakim, and how the Egyptians come in and ran the folks off the Ashkenazi under the name the Chaldeans. You know what I'm saying? Then Pharaoh army was come forth out of Egypt, and when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem. Then come the word of the Elohim men unto the prophet Jeremiah, saying, This saith the Elohim Yah of Israel. This shall ye say to the king of Judah, that sent ye men unto me, inquiring me, Behold, Pharaoh's army, which has come forth to help you, shall return to Egypt, men unto their own land. And then look, we will go into Egypt in the whole Israelite army, because as you seen that the Egyptian army helped the Israelites fight against the Chaldeans, which ain't nothing but these folks right here. Ashkenazi took Chaldea over, and this was our last days on the promised land, when we said that we was gonna do Egyptian religion. How our enemies tricked us into Africa, hiding in them. Now they had this prophecy and had this history Because after we was tricked into Africa, man, that activated the curses. And then if the curses activated, then all the prophecies associated with it and they come to pass, then the prophecies with redemption should be right behind. And that's what we finna be facing now. And our enemies don't want us to know this. But look, this is us getting tricked into Africa. Right here. This is us right here. Then all the men which, this Jeremiah 44. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burnt incense unto other gods, and all the women stood by a great multitude, even all the people that dwell in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. Men, throughout our whole time on the promised land, we was plagued with Egyptian religion, and it doomed us. And our enemies gonna keep that hid. You know what I'm saying? They gonna hide that. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna hide the prophecies that's associated with it, which is the curses, which will keep you in disbelief. You know, man, if they had real biblical history from you, then it's easy for you to stay in disbelief. And then that's how people is today, man. They don't know that the Tanakh is real, and that the biblical history is real, and that we are the living people that's descended from the peoples in the Tanakh, and how prophecy is still rolling. Prophecy is still rolling, and how they don't want you to know this. You know, so hiding prophecy will keep you in disbelief. It's the job of the enemies. You know, they don't want a new covenant for the Israelites, because a new covenant meaning that they can't sell no more bombs. Ain't no sense making no more submarines, and no more aircraft carriers, and no more tanks, and you know what I'm saying, no more hand grenades, and no more AKs, and no more, you know, weapons to destroy the creation that Almighty Yah created. You know, they don't want that. You know, they don't want that. But it's gonna come to pass. It's gonna come to pass, because the rest of the Tanakh has been coming to pass, and how prophecy is real. As I can show you, you know, that they got in history with, you know, Israelite monuments and images and so forth, and how the Tanakh bear witness that these people lived and so forth. All right, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I pray that everybody, man, is doing well. And then, man, I just recently made a video, man, about my past, man. Y'all see how Almighty Yah saved me, man. And Almighty Yah got a job for us. Because if you listen to that message, and then you've been watching this history and understand this history, then we the beginning of the new covenant. Because we not under the Jewish myths and lies and so forth. I mean, I just finished watching a video, man, that I should have recorded a little part about this dude. Now they starting to say that the Israelites ran into Africa during the Babylonian Wars. You know, they know it happened and so forth, and they know that, you know, we went into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, but that's all they say, Egypt. They want you to think that Egypt is not part of the land mass. You know, this big old land mass that they call Africa. They want you to think that Egypt is some kind of way separated from it. And then, you know, we know that Egypt territories, you know, went way over here, meaning to southern Libya and so forth, and how the territories that they got them in Africa came way later on and so forth, after the European nations divided Africa up and so forth. So, you know, I mean, Egypt borders went way over here. And, you know, the Egyptians tricked us into Africa, meant to worship their religion. And they, you know, did that destroying the old covenant. And Egypt represent the fallen angelic beings, children, and we didn't know at the time. All right, shalom, Israelites. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I pray that everybody stay safe. And man, I'm trying to constantly get the platform developed so all the Israelites, man, can come in and we can, do this together, man. Be one unit and so forth. When the Israelite Brotherhood get some power and get a little power, I'm using it strictly for the Israelite community. And man, that's what I'm working towards. And man, I pray that Almighty Yah, you know what I'm saying, bring, what I need, man, in the past. All right, shalom, Hebrews. I pray that everybody's doing well. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.